Welcome to Read Insight. I'm your host, Charlotte. In this era of information overload where everyone seems to be racing against the clock, I want to start by asking you a question. Where are you right now? I don't mean the room, the office, or the train carriage where your body physically sits. I mean, where is your mind? Is it replaying that brilliant point you made or wish you had made in a meeting an hour ago? Is it worrying about next month's bills? Or perhaps it is anxiously drafting a mental reply to those unread emails waiting in your inbox? If I told you that the vast majority of our pain, anxiety, and unease stems from the simple fact that we cannot inhabit this very moment, would that sound like a cliché to you? Please, don't tune out just yet. Today, we are opening a book that sparked a quiet revolution across the globe. It has been hailed as the entry-level Bible for modern spiritual practice. The book is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. This is not a manual on how to acquire more wealth or success. Quite the opposite. It is a book about how to lose your pain, lose your anxiety, and to some extent, lose the false self that never stops talking inside your head. Let's begin with a story that is somewhat dramatic but incredibly real. Before the age of 29, the author, Eckhart Tolle, was not a spiritual master. He was an ordinary man, a doctoral researcher who suffered from long-term anxiety and depression bordering on suicidal tendencies. Late one night, he woke up once again in a state of unbearable emptiness and dread. The loathing he felt for the world, and specifically for his own existence, reached a breaking point. In the silence of his room, he kept repeating a sentence in his mind. I cannot live with myself any longer. It sounds like a cry of absolute despair, doesn't it? But in that very moment, a strange realization struck him. He looked at the structure of that sentence and asked himself, if I cannot live with myself, then there must be two of me. The I and the self that I cannot stand. It was a moment of sudden clarity, like a lightning bolt piercing the dark night. He realized that the self, the unhappy chattering voice in his head, was not who he truly was. It was a mental construct. In that night, his old, heavy ego collapsed, replaced by a profound, unfamiliar peace. That moment was the genesis of the power of now, and it is the core of what we will explore today. We all have a voice in our heads. From the moment we open our eyes in the morning, the broadcast begins. The weather is terrible today. I'm going to be late again. Why did she speak to me like that yesterday? Where is my life going? This voice never stops. It comments, judges, compares, and complains. Tolle points out with piercing accuracy that our biggest mistake is identifying with this voice. We believe I think, therefore I am. But Tolle tells us that thinking is not being. The mind is a tool, a brilliant instrument. But in modern society, this tool has taken over. It has become the master, and we have become the slaves. Imagine if you saw someone walking down the street, talking incessantly to themselves, arguing with invisible people. You would think they were insane. But the truth is, we do the exact same thing internally. We just don't speak it out loud. We are trapped in memories of the past and projections of the future, missing the only thing that actually exists, right here, right now. This is why we are perpetually unsatisfied. The mind always says, here is not good enough, there will be better. Now is not good enough, the future will be better. This book introduces a core concept that might feel counterintuitive. Time is an illusion. Now, we are not talking about clock time, the time we use to catch a flight or schedule a meeting. We are talking about psychological time. What is psychological time? It is the past and future that our brain manufactures to escape the present. We habitually view the present moment merely as a means to an end. We endure our current job solely for the future pension. We endure studying solely for the degree. We are always waiting for the next moment, and in doing so, we miss this moment. Tolle argues that all pain is essentially a form of resistance to the present. Our resistance to the past creates regret, guilt, and grievance. Our resistance to the future creates anxiety, stress, and fear. And the present? The only treasure we actually possess? We ignore it, Or worse, we treat it as an enemy to be defeated. You might be asking, if I don't plan for the future, how do I live? If I don't learn from the past, won't I make the same mistakes? This is a very practical question. Tolle is not asking us to become amnesiacs or to abandon all planning. He emphasizes that we can use clock time for practical affairs, booking a dentist appointment, planning a travel route, but we must not let these things occupy our psychological time. This means that when you are making a plan, your attention is fully focused on the act of planning itself. That action happens in the now. But if, while planning, your mind is filled with fear about the outcome, worrying about failure, or stressing about what others will think, you have slipped into psychological time. You are creating pain. The book uses a beautiful metaphor. Imagine your life is like walking on a tightrope. The only thing you can focus on is the step right under your feet. If you keep looking back at the distance you've covered or straining your neck to see the finish line, you will lose your balance and fall. Life is simply a sequence of present moments. The past is just a memory of a former now. The future is just an imagined now. Beyond the incessant chatter of the mind, the book introduces another crucial concept, the pain body. Have you ever noticed how sometimes a trivial event can trigger a massive rage? Or plunge you into a deep, inexplicable depression, where the intensity of the emotion seems completely disproportionate to the event itself? That is the pain body at work. It is like a semi-autonomous energy field living inside us, formed by all the accumulated, unreleased pain from our past. This pain body is alive, and it gets hungry. Its food is more pain. So, when it wakes up, it seeks to create drama, conflict, or chaos. It tries to bait you into ruminating on hurtful memories until it is fed. Often, when we argue in our intimate relationships, it is not two adults communicating. It is two pain bodies, attacking and feeding off each other. So, faced with this tyrannical mind and this parasitic pain body, what do? Tolle offers a solution in one word: presence. This might sound abstract, but the practice is very concrete. When you notice that negative voice in your head, do not analyze it, do not judge it, do not try to force it to stop. Simply become the watcher. Just as you might sit by a river and watch the water flow, watch the thought pass by. The moment you realize I am thinking, you have already stepped out of the thought. The you that is observing the thought is your true self. That space of awareness is the power of now. Similarly, when the pain body activates and you feel that tightness in your chest or that surge of anger, do not let the emotion become you. Do not say, I am angry. Instead, say, I feel a strong energy of anger in my body. When you shine the spotlight of your consciousness onto the emotion, observing it purely without identifying with it, its energy begins to weaken, melting like ice under the sun. I want to specifically touch upon the concept of surrender mentioned in the book, because in our culture, which values struggle and conquering nature, this word is easily misunderstood. Many people think surrender means giving up, being weak, or letting others walk all over you. But the surrender Tolle speaks of is an unconditional acceptance of what is. For example, if you are stuck in quicksand, refusing to acknowledge you are stuck, cursing "why me" and flailing wildly will only make you sink faster. True surrender is first admitting, okay, I am in quicksand. This is the reality of this moment. When you accept the now, your internal resistance ceases. Your mind clears, wisdom emerges, and you can calmly find a way out. Surrender is not passive endurance. It is an internal alignment with the flow of life. When you stop wasting energy fighting against what has already happened, you gain the true power to change the situation. This is high-quality action because it stems not from fear or anger, but from peace. Reading The Power of Now feels like undergoing a deep spiritual detox. Living in a high-pressure environment, we are so accustomed to filling ourselves with busyness. We feel that if we stop for even a second, emptiness will swallow us whole. We scroll through our phones while eating, we listen to voice notes while walking. Our bodies are here, but our minds are 10,000 miles away. Tolle reminds us that the most precious things in life, love, joy, creativity, inner peace, are not found by grasping outwards. They emerge naturally from within when we stop resisting and fully enter the now. This is not a state that requires 10 years of asceticism in a cave. It is a switch available to you right now. Can you feel the air entering and leaving your lungs at this very second? Can you feel the sensation of your feet touching the ground? When you pull your attention back to these simple sensory experiences, thinking pauses, and that long-lost peace descends. Perhaps we cannot all experience a sudden, total awakening like Tolle did. This book does not demand that we become saints who are detached from worldly life. Rather, it is a gentle reminder. It reminds us to leave some gaps in our daily hustle, in the 30 seconds waiting for the elevator, in the 2 minutes while your coffee brews, or on the bus ride home. Try turning off the radio in your head. Just look, just listen, just feel. You will find that the world is far more vivid, far more beautiful than you imagined. Happiness does not need to wait for that promotion, nor does it need to wait for retirement. If we can break the chains of psychological time, happiness is found in every deep breath, in every flower by the roadside. As we come to the end, a quote from the book lingers in my mind. The future you are waiting for will never happen, because when it happens, it will be now. This sentence is like a splash of cold water, waking us up. We spend our lives waiting for a better future, forgetting that the only time we can ever be alive is now. If this step we take today is not grounded, is not peaceful, how can a future made of endless steps like this be any different? So, my dear listeners, perhaps starting today, try to be the watcher of your life. When anxiety strikes, simply say, I see you. When anger rises, say, I know you are there. Do not try to drive out the darkness, just bring in the light of awareness, and the darkness will vanish on its own. That is all for today's episode of Read Insight. I hope this book can become a harbor for your soul. When you feel exhausted by the storms of life, remember to return to the only true refuge, the now. Finally, I want to leave you with a question. In your life, when was a moment where time seemed to disappear, leaving only pure joy and stillness? Was that your closest encounter with the now? I invite you to share your timeless moments in the comments. Let us experience the present together through your words. I am Charlotte, and I will see you next time.